Okay, Only Murders in the Building finale tonight. I mean, we're here after so many twists and turns. We're getting here. And before we get any further, I just want to say, what a show, right? I think that the writing here, the way they've been able to engage us and all of that together has been outstanding. And I'm excited to see if there is anything that comes after this, any other project, not necessarily a season 2, but something else from this trio here. So before we get into these theories and talking about what the possible finale could hold, I want to go ahead and ask you to subscribe to the channel. Go turn that notification bell on. We are on the road to 20,000 subscribers, less than 300 away. I mean, that's insane. I am so happy and excited, everybody who has tuned in. But let's get into this. So Tim Kono, who killed Tim Kono? So for a while, they were telling us, well, implying that it was the Demasis who actually had a hand in his death. Turns out not the case, really. It was actually a little bit more complicated than that. The Demasis were in fact guilty of being scumbags that would take corpses, jewelry, and just plain old grave robbers, right? But they didn't kill Tim Kono. Now, they were in fact guilty of Zoe's death, but not Tim Kono. So there's that. So one of the things that I think was interesting as well here is that the latest episode has us even more confused as to what's going on, because I don't think necessarily there is a gotcha moment there that Jan is the killer. I think it's more of a, could she actually have done this? Now, I do believe there will be multiple killers in this finale. There will be very much so different people who want to have Tim Kono dead. Is Jan one of them? It could be. Did she deliver the final blow? I don't think so. I think there's somebody else there that's trying to cover their tracks here. I think Jan possibly could be the one that poisoned Tim Kono, and then there was somebody else who came and basically murdered him as well. Now, the big question is, if Jan is one of those murderers, who is the other murderer? Now, very, very, very interesting, right? What could also be a motivation for all of this? So I was very much so suspicious of Oscar. One of the reasons, though, I don't think Oscar could have been the one that did this now is because Oscar was in fact with the trio when this happened. And so there is no way I think that could have happened unless it's like a different time or anything like that. Some people were mentioning that Jan could have just actually stabbed herself to make it seem like there's something going on. But that just doesn't sound right to me either, just based on how like all of that happened. It would just be a total cop-out from the show to be doing that. So I don't see that either. I don't see Howard either. I mean, here's my theory. I think it was Sting. I'm just kidding. I don't think it was Sting. But imagine that big twist. It was actually Sting, right? That would be something of insanity. But no, my theory is going to flow into a character we haven't seen much of at all. And I think that this is something that's going to be a reason for us to be like, yeah, that makes sense. We barely saw this character when all this shit was happening. So who is this character? That is going to be Jose Torres. I think Jose Torres is Tim Kono's murderer. Now, maybe wrong. Maybe I'm just judging because he was Oscar's father. Maybe he has forgiven Tim Kono, but I just feel like the way when we saw this character and the way he acted and all of that, it could definitely be a reason to believe he is a suspect in all of this. Now, of course, Jose Torres being Oscar's father is sort of having a grudge towards Tim Kono. Wouldn't be unlikely because he is the reason that his son went to jail, because he wouldn't say the truth of what happened to Zoe that night. And so that grudge could have boiled over, and maybe with his son coming out and all of that, his feelings might be in another way more aggressive towards Tim Kono, just remembering that now he barely gets to see his son after everything that's happened. Also, being the superintendent, it might be easy for him to get into Tim Kono's apartment in and out and not be suspected. The cameras, all of that, you know, it just makes sense to me. And I feel like this character was not just going to be introduced just to be in this show for that short period of time. There was more to his character, and so I really do believe that Jose Torres could be actually the murderer murderer of Tim Kono. Now, whether or not he was working with Oscar in all of this, that's something else. Could there actually be a dual killer type scenario? Definitely, but I don't think that Oscar would also be trying to help out if it wasn't for that, right? Now, there could be a possibility like that where Oscar did aid his father in doing all of this, and that's one of the reasons he was very hesitant about the whole podcast, the case, and everything when we first met Oscar. Now, of course, we get deflected in him not being the actual murderer because he's always around when things like that are happening, like with the killer and all of that, but that's because he could have an accomplice, which could be his father, or maybe he is his father's accomplice, right? So I think that this is definitely my theorem going in with the show tonight. We are getting the season finale tonight. After the show is done, we're recapping it, all of that, so make sure you're tuned in for that. But let me know your theories down below. I'm very interested to know what you think. Who is the murderer in all of this, and what are your thoughts on the show as well? So don't miss out today by not subscribing or hitting that notification bell, because once we drop that video, we're going to be discussing it, spoilers, all that stuff. So if you want to come over to my channel and go ahead and watch my thoughts on the ending, the recap, all of that, and discuss it in the comments, come over here and do it. I don't know, I wanted to do a live thing, but I've done lives before and they don't necessarily always go as planned. Like, my internet's pretty spotty, so I do want to start doing live things, but right now I don't think I'm going to do it for this show, but definitely something I'm considering for the future, so stay tuned for all of that. But yeah, I also was planning to do a video on my Halloween costume, but one of the pieces for it is too small, so I have to return it and get a new one. So hopefully this weekend I can show y'all my Halloween costume. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Only Murders in the Building? Who do you think is the killer? Do you think I'm wrong, or do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments below. But tomorrow we have a Chucky video. I will be doing a Chucky video on the first episode tomorrow before the second episode, as I missed it last week, and I will be doing an after show video on the Chucky 2. Then we have American Horror Stories finale on Wednesday, so I mean, it's the week of finales, right? So stay tuned for that. 13 Days of Halloween does kick off today for me here, so expect a video later on that as well. I know I was promising videos every day, but I mean, shit happens. So yeah, anyways, as always, that is gonna do it for me. Make sure that you let me know your favorite horror movie, as well as I've been asking every video. Next week I will be dropping that video on all the horror movie suggestions I was given, so it can just be a long list of suggestions if you want to watch some horror movies on the week of Halloween. And as always, that is gonna do it for me. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Don't forget to check out the video on the left, and as always, stay safe, stay positive.